Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goedemorgen, ishpata.
Bakhair agale, ni hao, jure shumme, washmale, ohayek ginzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bhalli kare aaya. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PETV World. You're watching World this morning, alongside my very fantastic, very amazing co-host, Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. And just this morning, when I was getting ready, I was like, hey, just one day left to the weekend. So in my head, I thought it's Thursday. And just right before we started the show, I looked at my phone, and it's still Wednesday. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's midweek.
I believe I'm feeling great, and well, not really great, not at my 100%. It's just because of the fact that, after Ramadan, I've been trying to kind of come back to, my normal routine, but it's not really happening. And I think that, it's because of the usage of my cell phone later at night,
Probably.
which does not let me sleep. But otherwise, I feel perfectly healthy. Shukr, alhamdulillah, I feel fine, and I feel empowered.
Well, speaking of empowered, I think I'm going to save that comment for just a little while later as well. Does it ever make you wonder, I mean, just, us, our habits of using the phone all the time, or just, gaming and everything, what did our parents used to do when they were bored and they never had the phone? I mean, what did they do when they woke up? Because I feel like it's just a thing you do. When you wake up, you check your phone.
Yeah, I mean, for my parents, I'm sorry that I'll be saying it on television, but I think that they've been really busy because we are 7 siblings, and alhamdulillah. So they might not need cell phones back then as well, and they never got bored. Because first of all, obviously bringing 7 children to life, I believe that takes quite a lot of time.
Of course.
And then looking after them definitely does take a lot of time as well. So, and this is one thing which I always kind of comes around, and that is that, for all of those things which you do not have in life, you do not miss them. For once, if you're going to have them and then not have them, will actually make you kind of think about all of those things, people, and whatever. Yeah, so once you have them and once you don't, that's when you realize. If you do not have them at all, you might not even go there. You might not even think about it, no?
I think I do, well, for a change, I do agree with you 100%, totally. And it is often even said in a lot of, I want to say, media as well, different forms of media, not even just in movies. I've read things about, people write about personalities and sort of come to a conclusion that it is very easy to be poor as compared to be rich and then poor. Because that is the same thing you said, right? To have something and then not have it.
And I think that, the kind of age bracket I am in, usually people kind of talk about, hey, how, after, you cross 30 and then, you kind of come down to a point where, unfortunately, you do not have anything, First you had everything and then, I mean, for example, it can be finances, it can be a car, house, or anything materialistic.
Okay.
And, so thinking about losing all of those things, God forbid, because there's so many people who talk about it, that, okay, once you're in your 30s, that rough patch is going to come in. But I believe that's only going to come in, God forbid, number one, and that is that, if you're going to think too much about it, because I am an avid believer that whatever you think about is something which will be coming to you in any case and in any way as well. And this is how the universe works. So whatever you're going to attract, think that way, and it will definitely come your way. All you need to have is a clean heart, man. That's it. If you have a clean heart, you, in the first place, have faith in Allah Almighty, man. Your life is sorted. So even if you won't have anything, Allah will give you contentment. Allah will give your heart the kind of rest you need at that point of time. And make sure that you keep your head up and keep on struggling, make sure that you keep on making some noise, work hard.
Absolutely, and contentment for sure does not come with something materialistic or money for that matter.
Exactly.
I think,
That's debatable, though.
Well, of course, I think you're one of those people who would say, for people who think that money can't buy happiness, don't know where to shop, there are some times I agree with you, but right now I'm not. I'm going to take you back to where you said you feel empowered.
Yeah.
Which makes me question you, when was the first time you ever had a job? I mean, when did you start working?
Okay, so I've always been working, and this is something which I think about most of the time, and that is that because, when I was in my O-levels, that was the time when my father bought me my first ever cell phone, and, we used to get Nokias back then, and it used to come with polyphonic ringtones, and it
the
sounds
one with
as
the
if,
snake game in it?
I'm from so much back in the day, but yeah. So what I did was that, I obviously hail from a family where there's business, where there's bureaucracy, where
Privilege,
there's
probably.
there are a lot of things people do, and so what I managed to do was that I actually sold that phone for probably 300 more. So I bought it for 5,100, I sold it for 5,400,
Okay.
bought another one, bought another one. So back then, there was this phone N95.
Oh
It was
my
one of
God,
the
I used
super
to
phones.
die
So,
for it.
so I got to that point, alhamdulillah, by just trading off cell phones as well. And then in
Wow.
between, these Chinese phones came in. I was the first ever probably Pakistani who bought a Chinese phone and sold it for the price of a normal conventional phone as well,
Definitely.
which helped me get two cell phones. So, that was the time when I started working. Then there was radio, and then from radio there was media, then there was hosting shows, and trading things, probably buying a car, selling a car. So I've always been working, alhamdulillah.
That's good, and I think I'm pretty sure that is definitely contributing a lot to the empowerment that you're feeling right now. But ladies and gentlemen, yes,
I have
I
a
know you
question. I have
have.
a question as well. When was the first time you started working?
So for the first time, I worked at 19 as a swimming instructor. I've told you that.
Really?
But then I
Wow.
stopped. That was just for like 1 month. My dad was like, whatever, forget it. And then this is my first technical
How
job.
much did you get paid, for being a
9,000 per month.
Really?
It was a lot for me, man.
That
Like it
was
was.
quite a lot, yeah.
I
That is
know.
quite a lot. And that to be a swimming instructor, I believe it was good, yeah.
Where was golf club? Anyway, so here's the thing. A lot of you guys who regularly watch the show
Yep.
have been writing to us, and unfortunately, there was a sentiment of us talking about improving things, while some of you being, well, not really happy about the fact that unemployment is on the rise, and
Yeah.
especially because of the pandemic, even for the people who had jobs, have been laid off. We are really dedicated to, sort of spreading the right kind of information and the message to you guys. And today we want to talk about it. How can we make sure individually to empower the youth in such a way that we can really make sure 64% of the population turns out to be something good and prosperous for the country? Let's take a look at a small report about how the youth of Pakistan is empowering themselves, or even are they? And when we come back, we will start the discussion.
Let's do this. Good morning. Go ahead, take a look.
Investing in young people can be nation's most strategic investment if provided with necessary opportunities such as quality education, gainful employment, meaningful engagement, good mental and physical health, and marketable skills. Youth can gain the ability and authority to make well-informed decisions to improve their and their families' well-being. Empowered youth can not only achieve great heights for themselves, but can also positively impact society at large. It is central agenda of federal government to ensure socio-economic empowerment of youth on both national and international level. Reportedly, Pakistan is young and will continue to remain young for at least another decade, with more than 68% of its population below the age of 30 years. Creating opportunities for young people to empower them in process of decision making and investing in youth empowerment ought to be a top priority in Pakistan. Pakistan is recognized as a peaceful and prosperous nation and provides quality education, gainful employment, and meaningful engagement to its youth through integrated, dynamic, and sustainable pro-youth legislation programs and institutions.
Sustainable pro-youth legislation programs. Wow, that's a good recommendation, and I believe that we move in that direction. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky enough that we've been joined by two youngsters over here in the studios with us who are going to let us know how they empowered themselves and what kind of impact they did have on people who were around them as well. So first up, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by a young analyst, and she happens to be Ms. Samra Akhtar Kakakhail. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm fine. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
It's our pleasure.
And I usually watch your show, and it's quite good. The way you greet in different languages, it's something very appealing.
Wow,
Thank
it's
you
wonderful.
so
Thank you
much.
very much for saying that. You've made our day as well. And alongside Ms. Samra, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've been actually joined by somebody who happens to call himself a youth activist. And he happens to be one as well, and he is Mr. Muhammad Uzair Bhatt. Hello, assalamu alaikum, Bhatt Sahab, how are you?
I am doing great. How about you? And this was a very lovely introduction by your end. I love the way that you use different languages to just greet everyone. And it's really interesting. I'm really happy to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you very much. Wow, it's wonderful as well. So first things first, Samra, I want my conversation to, kind of take another step. And it's because of the fact that, this is something which we grew up with. Ever since I was growing up, our parents would say that, padhoge nahi to beta jamadar lag jaoge, things like that.
Exactly.
And, or probably, they used to tell us that, if you're not going to get good grades, you're not going to get a good job. What I have felt as of, for my kids, what I believe is that, I'm going to tell them that better rather than, looking for a job, do something where you will hire people. So I want a change within the mindset. How do you think that we can come to a point where we are changing mindsets?
Well, first of all, I will say that youth is a very important segment of the society.
An
And
asset.
I always consider the youth as a spark of the hopes. And they're kind of the engine which can play the role in changing the future of the nation,
Yeah.
whether it's Pakistan or any country.
True.
So it is very important first that youth should be educated, they should be empowered, and they should engage in the very productive activities. Recently, I was reading one human development report
Okay.
where there was, they said there that we should focus on the 3 E's. That was education, engagement, and empowerment.
Okay.
Education should be the quality, there should be the quality of education provided to the, the youth, and engagement should be healthy, and it should be meaningful, and employment should be the, it should be the gainful. So these 3 can, reshape the future of the youngster, which
That
can
is
play a major role in the lives of the others in even the society.
Wow.
Well, that is absolutely true, Samra, and I think we need to sort of explore that in detail. But Shahzad, did you realize in Samra's answer there was one thing very common, and I think you have been using that word quite a lot, so I'm going to throw that to Uzair over here. How would you define the youth being empowered?
For me, I think the first thing that comes to mind is that the youth is trying to put themselves out there. It's about the confidence that they need to get out of their bubble, and the youth will feel empowered when they are getting the opportunity to actually do that. So I really think that the government, the family, and your friends, your social circle is really going to motivate you to do that. And if you have that, like Shahzad, you were mentioning about having a very clean heart, I really think that there's one more thing that has to add to it, and that's your mindset. And if you have the mindset to actually move on towards something and have to make sure that you achieve that goal, I think that's really, these 2 together can really make someone feel like that they're actually doing something and bring the change.
See, I'm obviously going to agree to it, because in the first place you need a mindset, and then obviously the way will be clearer to you, and it's going to be very clear within your own head as well, and only then you can take things forwards. But as of now, what I would rather want to talk about is personal experiences, so that people can learn from that and
Definitely,
people take
yes.
inspiration. Now, there comes a lot of times, when you really do not have a support system, because majority of the people over here in Pakistan does not really have a support system. It's like, their parents brought them to this world and then later left them to do whatever they want to do, rather than being their support system. We, alhamdulillah, are the blessed ones,
Yeah.
shukar alhamdulillah, that we have families which are educated, that we have some sound backgrounds, and may Allah keep it that way as well. And for everybody who are out there who are actually struggling, we want the same for you. But what happens is that for people who actually do not have a support system, or people who are going to help them, what happens is that they really do not have that clearer mindset, because they still haven't identified what they want to do. Because ever since while they were growing up, कुछ बड़ा करो यार, कुछ बड़ा करो, भाई क्या बड़ा करना है भाई, बताओ तो सही ना. Nobody could tell.
Yeah.
So having a clear picture of what you want to do is something which I want our youngsters to have. And imagine that people who are probably above 25 still haven't figured out what they want to do with their lives. So for example, you are over here as an example. You will be inspiring a lot of people because you have your own fitness business. How did you get into it? Let's talk about that.
Okay, so let's move on to that. So I've been playing sports since almost 16 to 17 years.
And you happen to be gold medalist from LUMS as well. You run marathons.
I've been running marathons. I was also able to win Mr. LUMS, which is a men's physique competition. So the story really started when I ruptured my ACL. I was giving my trials for the football team at LUMS when I joined, and I just fell myself. There was no one who tackled me, and it was basically the first time that I could not get back up.
Okay.
Everything after that went really black for me because the doctor said that you won't be able to play soccer again unless you get the reconstruction. So I decided to go for that because I sort of started going into depression. I could not figure out my studies. I could not figure out what to do because being a sportsperson all your life, you really can't figure out okay, achha, next step kya karna hai.
Yeah.
So I went for the surgery, and after the reconstruction, I really figured a lot about myself, and I saw that humans are so powerful. If they can make sure that they use their mind and head towards something, they can actually achieve that. So I saw myself helping other people as well when I was recovering from that injury, and I joined a fitness team at LUMS, which was LUMS Shredded, and their goal was to help provide awareness and group fitness classes to students of campus and also the faculty.
Yeah.
So I joined as a member, and after that I saw that I was really good at this stuff. It was something really interesting for me as well because it was in line with my passion. So I decided to go abroad for the CrossFit certification. And that is where my parents were able to support me as well. They were really happy that I was trying to do something really different, because most people would actually look back at me and say that, oh, yaar, ye to I mean, fitness trainer ban rahe, and stuff like that used to come a lot of time, for at least a year. But when I got my certification done, I came back and I had something to show out to the world. So I decided to start my own fitness page as Uzair's Fitness Junction. And I remember the first day, I could not understand what should I post. And at that time, I had so many things in mind that, will this actually pull off? Will people really follow me? Will people really think that I'm special, who's doing something for the community? And I still remember that day. However, I just went on with the post. I just shared my story, how I recovered. And after that, it's been almost 3 years. The program is going really well. I have a lot of I've almost helped people lose weight and gain weight, around a total of 150 clients, and their results have been very, very successful. And
see, it's wonderful, but you know that I have there's another tier to that, and that is that, you know, for example, you know, you spoke about the health industry or fitness industry. Now, for, you know, some parents who've actually sent their son to go graduate from LUMS, and then, you know, finally he wants to become a fitness trainer. Initially, that's what they thought of it, right?
Exactly.
So imagine that, you know, your parents didn't have a clear picture of what you wanted to do. You did have it as well, you know, back then even. But, you know, at times these support can be compromised just because of the fact that goals can vary. You know, parents have a very different perspective of what my son would be doing. Rather, the son would be thinking, hey, you know what, this is my forte and this is what I want to do. So what to do in a situation like that when you are in conflict with people who are your support system?
So that's a great question. I really think that a lot of students are facing similar issues. I mean, I talk to my clients, I talk to my friends who are always worried, and they want to do something else, they want to pursue something else. Some of them want to be musicians, some of them want to go into writing, but their parents have this idea, this concept back from their generation that no, you should become a doctor, no, you should go into engineering, and it's just really disappointing for the student as well, because they know that they have potential for something, but they can't really go up for it because they can't really face their parents and just talk to them openly about what they want to do in life. And I think that is the awareness that you need to bring into the play, and actually you should just sit down with your parents and tell them how things have changed in our environment, how getting jobs is so difficult, because the focus of parents is that if you get a really good GPA, you will get a job. But that's not it, because I've been through the hiring process right now. I just graduated, and I've seen that what really puts you out there and what really makes you unique is if you've done something really different, if you've been into sports, you've been into some extracurricular activities or organizations, and actually brought a change.
Exactly.
Because a really good GPA is something that everyone is going to be able to achieve as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's what makes you different.
Wonderful.
And Uzair, you know, your I don't know, entire discussion also sort of left us with the point that when we talk about empowerment or, you know, improving the society altogether, it does not rely on just grades, because that is not the indicator, or that is not the measurement scale of a person being able to succeed as well. Now, you guys, you might have heard the phrase a lot lately, especially ever since PTI came into being, power as well. Knowledge-based economy. We are headed towards a knowledge-based economy. We want to make one because that is the only way we realize now that we can succeed. What comes to your mind when we talk about a knowledge-based economy? Explain to us in such terms, we'll start with you, Samra, so that an unemployed youth right now watching the show can understand how he can make use of the knowledge-based economy. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm coming to the point, like youth can play a vital and significant role and to play and participate in the democratical process.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
the political, if you see in the political activities as well. So when it comes to these things, I mean, those like who are intellectual, those who are having the potential and they want to do something, so then they use their ideas, their creativity and a new thinking concept, which can lead them to participate in different activities, and they can achieve their main target goal as well. And
So you're saying political awareness is very important for empowerment?
yeah, with the economic, and this is also very important, where they can lead toward the success, and it can also promote the active citizen. They can strengthen the social responsibility as well, and can enhance the democratical process in the different institution where they can make the decision.
Absolutely. And Shahzad, do you remember, I think this was last week or probably a week before that, we shared the news where a Pakistani boy actually contributed towards
NASA.
the code in the quadcopter being flown on Mars. I mean, we were really proud of that. This is probably one of the examples of how we can generate
That's
a
a big
knowledge-based economy. What about, how do you understand knowledge-based economy?
I really think that knowledge-based economy is more about how the individual himself is going to use the knowledge that's available and then turn that into something really good. So if I look at using YouTube as a really good example, you're using the resources that are available to you, and then you're focusing on trying to bring something out of it. Such as a really good example right now for the youth, a lot of students have started making their own pages on Instagram. They've started running businesses that did not even think about before. I myself, I mean, I saw a lot of fitness influencers starting their page, and that's when I also decided that maybe this is going to work. So I used that knowledge. I used to study the same influencers who were in the same industry, and through that, with time, I was also able to start off something really big, and it made a difference.
Yeah, and that's true
smart.
as well. Yeah, that's smart, that's true. And which is why, I can kind of relate to that as well, because, earlier on, when I was thinking about different business ideas, a person would actually think about whatever business ideas are out there already. So there was non-stop, which came into being, and they were selling so many naans a day. I was like, okay, why not have your own tandoor?
Did you?
Or, and if not tandoor, why not let's open up a barber shop? And, I was in conversation with a lot of people who call themselves or name themselves as hairstylists. And then, every time I would go back home and I'd be like, this is something what I'm doing. नहीं बनना अब तुमने अब तुम नान लगाया करोगे things like that, and these are very derogatory remarks as well for somebody who's actually thinking about what to do. See, if you cannot give them an idea, do not put down their idea in the first place. This is one thing which I believe. But speaking about ideas in knowledge-based economy, what I get out of it is that for example, if you go to Dubai, they have a knowledge city. Now, for example, if we are going to move on to into that direction, what we really need to do is that we really need to make sure that we apply all of that knowledge with the help of science and technology. And this is how people have progressed and nations have progressed, or economies have progressed. But certainly, we're still like almost 50 years behind if we have to kind of
Light
have
years.
a fair comparison. How do you think that, because we have youngsters who can make quadcopters, we have youngsters who can make electric vehicles, we have people over here qualified enough who can make their own cell phones, but lesser opportunities and more ideas will actually lead us towards having a dearth of knowledge because nobody got the opportunity to apply that knowledge. No research and development centers. But now, since we have incubation centers where there are people who are actually helping you not just with office spaces, but rather they will give you a handsome capital with which you can run your businesses. How do you think that youngsters have got this golden opportunity which they're not using as of now?
Because sorry, just to add to that as well, Shahzad, because if we don't do anything about the opportunities right now, then the pool of ideas is eventually just going to be a pool of frustration we'll be swimming in. And that is exactly the situation right now with the generation older to ours. We don't want that anymore.
Because the incubation centers are there now, it's for the youngsters to kind of apply for everything, right?
I think they should avail this opportunity because if you see these days, I mean, like this is the golden opportunity, and many people are complaining. I mean, the youngster that okay, we are having intellectual power, we are having, I mean, the abilities to do work, but we don't have work. So when it comes to these things, I think they should avail this opportunity. And I've seen many people like they are who are not getting the chance, who are, I mean, not having abilities, who are applying to these areas where they think that okay, we are not best for it. So then it leading them towards the destruction. Sometimes it may lead to depression and leading towards the crime. So I think those who are already having this, I mean, ability to work in this area, they should go for it, and they should, I mean, utilize their skills and abilities.
True.
And that is definitely.
Can I add something?
Yes, yes, of course.
Also to that, I would also like to add that I think there's lack of awareness, which is the bigger picture. In the bigger picture, there's lack of awareness. I mean, I know that these organizations, these incubation centers have been made up, but the students are not being told about them to that extent, and they should also be supported, and they should be told about this at their universities, at the school level, that you guys should show your potential and just go out there, make the step and see where your potential really lies.
True. But don't
you know,
think,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Shiza, I know that you have already raised the finger, but what I wanted to say is that it totally depends on how hard or how bad you want something in your life. I mean, if it is still probably on the universities or the administration to kind of make their students aware that, that they can avail these incubation center facilities. I believe that, then probably it's the students who need to be blamed, because all of this information is available over the internet and everywhere.
Exactly.
So, that's the point. So if you're still,
Missing
if you
out.
have no idea about what incubation center is and you're a youngster who's actually studying in a university, I'm sorry that you have really
your
not
fault.
learned by far.
Thank you, Shazad. This is what I was going to talk about. I was going to say that the government is definitely providing a lot of opportunities. For example, for all of those out there who might be just ready to criticize this as well, Amazon seller's account. I'm so happy about that. I was just talking to Shazad, and well, we were discussing out the details and everything. You know what makes me happy? Someone sitting in a village with a small gadget shop, maybe, because I know such people, or a woman sitting in a village with a desi ghee shop or a case shop, for that matter. These people.
Yeah.
They might have access to anyone sitting in the world with the label of Pakistan, made in Pakistan, and to be sent any. I'm so proud of this. This is one form of active empowerment that I'm seeing, proactive rather, in my own life. How do you guys think about that? And also, what are some of the similar things that you think can be done?
Yeah, it's very, one of the good thing, because for those people who are laborers, who are
Yes,
unskilled, so
absolutely.
they can earn on this way. And because if you see, even the unskilled people, they are, these days using the social media too.
Everyone.
Everyone, even they are like spending their time. They don't know how to utilize their time by spending, TikTokers and all such things. So I think if they spend this time on this, so they can have something productive in the hand.
Right?
Exactly, and I believe, because we have to wrap up this segment as well. So, Barsa, I'm going to move on to you. I believe that we need to change the culture here, because
What's the culture?
because just a few days ago, I was just watching this video where this gentleman was so heartbroken, and it's because of the fact that he built a helicopter in his backyard, and he went to the local police station to seek permission so that he can do a
flying,
test
okay.
flight or probably a test run as well. And then he wasn't actually given that permission, that you cannot actually fly a helicopter because there's security hazards and whatnot. And he's already done it before as well, so he's got a certificate from Pakistan Air Force, which he was really happy about. But the local authorities didn't let him do a test run
That's
over a
so
helicopter
sad.
he made in his backyard. Imagine that he never asked for a single penny from anybody, and he made a helicopter out of passion. This is what you call product development. But imagine that if you're not going to allow him to kind of do a test run, how do you think that more and more people can or probably feel motivated to do so? So we need to change this culture in the first place. Everybody who comes up with something, there are people who are going to pull them back as well, and then pull their leg and whatnot. So we need to change this culture. Do you agree to this?
I
And
agree
also
to
make
this.
a closing statement. Sorry.
Okay, so I think it's a really good point that you've made, and I really think that these struggles will come, and you have to fight them.
Yeah.
And every single time you fight them, you're also going to bring that change within yourself and also in the community. And then you can share that with the community so that other people can also learn from it as well. So if we have time, I have a really very, very small example. When I was training back in my O-levels, I used to go, we used to train at G11 in a football ground. And my coach said to us that we all have to line up, and we have a very big guest coming in. So we were all really excited. We were looking that someone really big influencer is about to come and show up. So I see this guy coming on a cycle, and he gets off. He's wearing a security guard uniform, and he comes up to sir, he hugs sir, and he's like, students, this guy used to play with me for the Pakistan national team, and he was the goalkeeper.
That's so sweet.
And at that point, I saw many of the students who were playing with me, they're really, like I saw their expressions change, because they were looking for something really big, and what they really saw was just a security guard. And at that moment, I realized that this needs to change. I see that this guy worked so hard and was playing for the national team, and he wanted to bring a change, but right now, what does he have? And that is when I decided that if we ever get a chance to become someone big, we can actually change that, provide the youth the talent that they have. We can provide them with the opportunities to actually grow and actually show them that their talent is going to be utilized at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Brilliant,
So that's
brilliant.
true as well, and it was wonderful to be in conversation with such empowered, amazing youngsters as well. Thank you very much for taking out time and joining us as well. And towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing, and that is that even if it was me, God forbid, even after my television career, if I have to work and there's no work, and the first job I ever get after having no work is of a security guard, I wouldn't feel any shame in that as well, and I'll make sure that, you know,
What is the
that
shame?
whatever it takes to do whatever work I've been offered, I will always do that, opt for it. And that's why he was a bigger person. That's why your coach said that, you know, that a
Definitely.
bigger person is coming in as well. So always
Definitely.
remember that. Whatever work you're being offered, always make sure to go for that, because one thing in hand is better than two in bushes.
Absolutely brilliant, and I'm so happy to be in conversation with someone of your mind,
Thank
both
you,
of you
yeah.
actually. And Samra, I think I'm going to wrap the show up with something you said and take that further. That if we are not able to manage the youth bulge right now, we are also looking at a crime bulge, because well, frustration does eventually lead to a lot of crime. We don't want that in the society, but frustration also leads to anxiety and depression, and in
And
my
wrinkles.
case, yes, anxiety leads to zits and pimples immediately.
Yeah.
What can we do about that? If you want to find out, like us, please stay tuned, because in the next segment, we have someone who will answer all your questions.
That was good, Shiva. That was good. Thank
Stay
you, guys.
tuned.
Thank you very much. We're going for a
Good
short break.
morning.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like I promised, I'm going to be in conversation with a dermatologist who's going to answer all my questions on your behalf as well.
Yeah.
Before that, I have a question for my co-anchor Shazad Khan over
Sure.
here. I mean, it's only natural for humans to have a breakout on their skin if they're anxious or, well, even depressed for that matter. It does happen for different reasons, not
Yeah.
just for that. But I was going to ask you how it shows in your skin, but then I realized you have 4 dermatologist sisters, so I don't even think it shows in your skin, does it?
Well, it does, you know, and you know, this is a question which, you know, anybody can ask from their parents, because, you know, they would certainly know that, you know, there's a change in their sons or daughters' skin, or, you know, the kind of behavior they're posing as well. And now, because I'm extremely dedicated towards the kind of work I do, and then business and everything, alhamdulillah. So, you know, in business, you're dealing with so many people every single day, and not everything will come out to be the way you want it to be.
Yes.
So it definitely shows on your face. And, you know, with me, what happens is that my skin color goes a little darker.
Really?
Yeah, so when I am overthinking, or when, you know, when I'm in a situation where, you know, it kind of involves stress and anxiety and whatnot, you know, the skin tone is actually going to get darker. And that's the time when I
Wow.
realize that, you know, hey, you know what, I need to take a break and relax, because not everything in this world is going to be my way as well. But for that, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a small report to share with you guys, which is going to talk about skin ailments, skin diseases, and what to do to make them better. Is something which we'll be talking after the report. Let's
Let's
take a look.
take a look.
Your skin is your body's largest organ. It covers and protects your body. Your skin holds body fluids in order to prevent it from dehydration, keeps harmful microbes out to prevent it from severe infections, helps you feel things like heat, cold and pain, keeps your body temperature even. makes vitamin D when the sun shines on it. Skin disorders vary greatly in symptoms and severity. They can be temporary or permanent and may be painless or painful. Some have situational causes, while others may be genetic. Some skin conditions are minor and others can be life-threatening. Anything that irritates, clogs or inflames your skin can cause symptoms such as redness, swelling, burning and itching. Allergies, irritants, your genetic makeup, and certain diseases and immune system problems can cause rashes, hives and other skin conditions. Many skin problems such as acne also affect your appearance. While most skin disorders are minor, others can indicate a more serious threat. Contact your doctor if you think you might have one of these common skin problems.
Well, contact your doctor if you have any such issues. Do not be your own doctor, or do not let Google do that as well. For that matter, we have actually been joined by someone who is ready to actually answer all these queries related to skin, of course. She happens to be a consultant dermatologist, Dr. Noreen Sarfaraz. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back.
Walaikum assalam.
Such a long time.
Yeah, thank you for having me in the show.
Well,
Yeah,
you look
thank you very much
brilliant,
for joining
radiant
us.
as always, but I think you have to because you're a dermatologist, right? People would think that if you are definitely giving out something, you must have tried it on yourself. But which leads me to my first question. You have a specific skin type as well. Are you really, really picky in terms of the things you do for yourself?
Definitely, I'm really picky about the things which I select for my own skin.
Yeah.
For knowing the skin products, you should first be aware of what your skin type is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we most commonly classify these skin types as a normal skin, which is soft, smooth and supple, and they are lucky in a sense that they are having less breakouts in their skin, they are having less skin issues, and it's glowy most of the time. And the second type of the skin is the dry skin, which is very problematic. The people face so many acne issues and allergic reactions, irritant reactions, even in the dry skin as well. And they often feel that their skin has been stretched out and mask-like. And then is the oily skin, which is very common, and the people have very high activity of sebaceous glands in themselves, and which is appeared in the form of oil, and when you really see the shiny face of them all the time, and they are feeling really difficulty
Yes, it's
by
so
hiding
common.
the oil. And then is the combination skin, in which there are two kinds of skin in the same individual: dry skin and the oily skin. The oily skin is visible in the T-zone, which is head and the nose.
Yes.
And then is the sensitive skin, which is very problematic.
Touch
and
me not.
yeah, touch me not, exactly.
Right.
That's
right.
wonderful. Thank you very much for giving us such a detailed, different types of skins as well.
Understanding,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you very much for this better understanding. But you know, I believe that it's a very common question and people would know because with our audiences, you know, we kind of talk about these things as well.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be a very silly question or very good one as well.
Just
So
shoot.
what are the different functions of skin?
Okay, skin is the largest organ of the
Yeah.
body, and we mostly forget that thing. We just take it for granted and we say, okay, it's fine. We are not ready to spend much on our skin, but we should spend a lot on our skin because it's the investment which will you carry on. It will boost your confidence. If you don't have a good skin, then it has a bad impact on you. Your confidence level is bit shattered.
Okay.
So the functions of the skin are a lot, and will highlight the basic ones.
Sure.
First one is it acts as a physical barrier which protects our body from the external hazardous effects, including the microbes, chemicals, physicals, and thermals. And then it maintains the temperature of our body, and it prevents the excessive water loss from our body, and it helps in the synthesis of vitamin D. It prevents us from the various infections.
Wow.
That is brilliant, and which is why, of course, it is so important to take care of it. So, Dr. Noreen, you know, it's a cultural thing. Unfortunately, in South Asia, whitening creams are a thing. Whitening products, generally bleaching products, are a thing. Well, luckily, thanks to the internet, a lot of people lately have been aware of the fact that whitening or bleaching products are not something you need for the skin, rather just enhancing your true color and quality. So people are on to glycolic acid, hyaluronic acid, so many things, retinols, whatever suits their skin. Unfortunately, it's not affordable for everyone. What do you recommend?
I strongly agree with you. There is a lot of craze in our society, and especially the Asian region, that we are so much after the whitening ourselves, using the whitening creams, whitening injections, and they
Yes.
should be used to a certain extent. Like if you are having a pigmentation or
Okay.
freckles, then you should use the specific creams. But I think we should accept ourselves the way we are. We are having the Asian skin, which is classified as the Fitzpatrick skin type 4, and some people might have 2, 3 as well.
Is that that goes with the color?
It's like Fitzpatrick skin type 4 is which tans easily but burns
Oh,
hardly.
got it. Got
So the people from the Europe, or we call it the white people, they have Fitzpatrick skin type 1 or 2. So
Okay.
as we advance, this pigmentation is more, and it changes into dark brown color as well. So they have a good skin, they tan easily, but it burns hardly. So if you are having a skin type 4, we should accept it the way we are.
Yes,
And we
of
should
course.
try to do all the efforts in improving the texture of our skin. You might have heard on the media that there was a lot of campaign going on that we should improve the texture of our skin, and it's bad that we are using the whitening creams because it have hazardous effects, but there's a lot of craze in our public to use it.
That is so
Yeah,
true.
everybody wants
That's
to
what-
look good, I believe, and everybody has the right to do so as well. I mean, if you can afford to do it, why not? But there are two things which I'm going to ask over here. Since we have spoken about, different skin types as well. So obviously for different skin types, there will be different skincare regimes, right? So
course.
one, I want to talk about that. Number two, now I have seen a lot of people kind of investing their fortune in making sure that they look better every single day, going to laser clinics, doing these aesthetic treatments and whatnot. But they won't buy a 500 rupee sunblock. And how important in the first place, I want you to raise awareness within the audiences as well, that how important is sunblock, first of all, and number two, for different skin types, different skin regimes.
Definitely.
Skincare
Coming
regimes.
to your first part of the question, that what is the skincare regime? So I will highlight some of the basic skincare regime, and
For everyone?
For everyone,
Okay.
yeah. First of all, our sleep pattern, our eating habits, everything affects our skin. We should have a good sleep pattern, like that's minimum 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and we should drink a lot of water, keep ourselves hydrated from inside to outside, like minimum 7 to 8 glasses of water. If you count it in liters, it's 1.5 to 2 liters. Then it again varies on, it depends on your activities. If you have more outdoor activity, you may require more intake of water, and if you have less indoor activity, it varies. And eating good food, having all the minerals and vitamins in proper proportion. Like if you specifically talk about the minerals and vitamins, it's vitamin A, C, E, button, and vitamin B complex, and then is the copper, zinc, iron, and coenzyme Q. And prefer to take the green leafy vegetables and fresh fruits, and cut down your refined carbohydrates. Impacts your skin so badly that even you have a breakout because
Refined
of it.
carbohydrates, can we please talk in depth? Because I
like
certainly
if
have no
you-
clue about what refined carbohydrates are.
Refined carbohydrates, we are specifically talking about the junk food, like we are having burgers, bakery items. I know people
How
will
can we refer
hate
to
me
them
for
as
that.
refined carbohydrates?
I know people will hate me for that, but it definitely impacts your skin. A lot of studies have been conducted which has shown that you are what you eat. We have heard it a lot. We hear the different skincare regimes, but it will make a difference if we follow it. It's not like just we hear it and we never do it, and do it sometimes. It need lot of investment, not in sense of money, but also in time and your commitment.
So what you're
That
trying
is
to
true.
what you're trying to say over here is that if you're going to eat healthy, if you're going to eat organic, we might not even have to invest on our skin.
No, that was
because-
the answer for your first part of the
Oh,
question.
okay, coming to
And,
the second part.
Yeah, now it's a skincare regime. Now you should cleanse your skin properly. You should know the type of your skin, and you should select your cleanser according to that. And the girls, they are making so much makeup these days, and it's necessary part of our
Quite a
daily
bit.
Yeah,
routine.
after the makeup, it's so hard to recognize the same girl.
Shazad, don't
It's
get
not
me
like that.
That's
It definitely it's
Already,
not
but
like
that's
that.
how it is. Even we wear makeup on television, but at least people can still recognize us
That's-
when we do not, or when we are not wearing makeup. That's a,
The trend has been changed. We're not wearing so much makeup. It's like
I'm
a
not talking about you
nude,
guys, certainly.
natural
But
look. It's
Yeah.
all about the nude, natural look.
Yeah.
Is it so?
It definitely so.
So definitely cleans your skin. If you're using a makeup, double cleanser. First use the oil-based cleansers and then the water-based cleanser. The idea behind is that it will not strip off the oil, natural oil of your skin. And second is use the proper toners. It is an additional thing. If the people are having acne, they should use the toners containing salicylic acid or tea tree toners. Then you should add your mask in your routine. It's not that mask which we are wearing in COVID. It's the other kind of
Face mask.
mask. Yes, it's a
But
face
Dr. Noreen,
mask.
if my face wash already balances my pH, do I still need a toner?
No, it's an additional thing. You can use it 2-3 times a week. It will reduce the size of your pores because we're using so many skincare products and then there are different things. So we need it definitely. Scrub your face, and then there are two kinds of scrubbers available: liquid scrubbers and physical scrubbers.
Yeah.
The trend is changing.
I think that's the only scrubber I have.
What is?
Which one?
With your hands?
Yeah.
So physical scrub is having the microgranules in it, but it can damage your skin as well if you're doing it so harshly. So people are preferring the liquid scrubbers as well. It's
It
just
doesn't
really clean.
satisfy me. It feels like it's not doing its work until there are grains in it.
Definitely, it depends on you how much you are satisfied with your skincare routine. Then a proper selection of moisturizer. That's very important. It's the key of a healthy skin. Like if you want a glowy skin, you should have a proper moisturizer. For the dry and excessive dry skin, we should use the moisturizer containing the urea or oil-based moisturizer. Now the people who are having acne, they find it so hard to select the moisturizers.
Yes, such a common issue.
Yeah, they think that if they will use a moisturizer, then it will aggravate their acne, but this is a myth. You should a moisturizer that is water-based. It will help you a lot. There's a lot of variety in our market, and it makes us easy to select it. You were talking about the budget as well. Now, there are some good companies in the market as well, which are providing the quality as well, because I prefer the quality over the quantity.
Definitely,
So you have a wide range, and the thing is that do check it's not expiry and it doesn't contain the harmful content like mercury or steroid, because it will definitely harm your skin in a long run. And every skincare regime takes some time. It's not like a magic or
Doesn't
we're
happen
not using
overnight.
steroid. Yeah, people are not stick to the skincare regime. They're like that if we are using it right now, we want to see the results after 2, 3 or maximum a week. That's not possible.
Wow.
I know.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Noreen, for, kind of sharing quick tips with us as well as in how to make your skin healthier, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It was lovely to be in conversation. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's not even about spending for me because it, my soap actually takes more than 2 months to kind of finish. And then
Do you even
for
use
me
it?
to, yeah, obviously I do use it. But how much do you really use? I mean, I'm not one of those person, who's going to use all of these amazing, fancy-looking creams and moisturizers every single day. Because if my skin is already fine, why do I have to spend on it
Well,
already?
then, in that case, you're lucky.
Yeah, because alhamdulillah, because this is one thing which I want everybody to kind of think about. Do your own fair analysis, whether you need all of these things or not. And in fact, what you really need to do is just go to a dermatologist, ask them, and kind of then kind of move forward with that.
Absolutely no risks with your skin, of course, never. But if you still have any questions or any feedback, any queries related to your skin type even, let us know so we can direct them to Dr. Noreen over here on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
on Twitter,
On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
YouTube.
On YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you look for PT World, and then, alhamdulillah, the most viewed show on PT World is World This Morning.
Yes, and we'll catch you tomorrow, inshallah, same time next morning.
Yeah.
And the repeat you can catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Our anchors are ready for the latest news updates as well, so we kind of need to go. Bye-bye. Look after yourselves. Good morning. Thank you.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. You're watching PTV World. With the news at this hour, I'm Farrukh Fayaz.
And joining Farrukh Fayaz, this is Saina Khattak. Let's begin with the headlines first.
Federal Cabinet has given approval to a special CPEC business visa to facilitate Chinese investment in the country.
Prime Minister Imran Khan urges the youth to take full advantage of skills education and Kamyab Jawan programs launched by the present government for creation of job opportunities in the country.
Corps commanders take comprehensive review of the global, regional and domestic security environment with particular focus on situation along borders, especially LOC, working boundary and Pakistan-Afghanistan border.
The Senate passes a unanimous resolution condemning crimes against humanity committed by Israeli occupation forces in Gaza.
COVID-19 claims another 65 lives, while 2,724 new positive cases reported during the last 24 hours across the country.
Israeli forces kill a young Palestinian in the occupied West Bank as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets Netanyahu for talks.
The first lunar eclipse of 2021 is going to occur during the early hours of today, but it will not be visible in Pakistan.
Before it resumes, once again, the PSL 2021 is being hit by one setback after the other. Quetta Gladiators all-rounder Anwar Ali has tested positive for the virus.
Federal Cabinet has given approval to a special CPEC business visa to facilitate Chinese investment in the country. Briefing media persons about the decisions taken in the Cabinet meeting held in Islamabad with Prime Minister Imran Khan in the chair, Minister for Information and Broadcasting Chaudhry Fawad Hussain said this will enable the Chinese investors to get their visas within 48 hours and get security clearance in 30 days. Chaudhry Fawad Hussain said overseas voters are an important agenda of our electoral reforms. He said the Election Commission should take immediate steps to bring them into our electoral process. The Cabinet appreciated improvement in relations between Turkey and Saudi Arabia as it will be beneficial for the Muslim Ummah. He said the forum approved the formation of a committee to review the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan's application for lifting of ban on it. After reviewing the application, the committee will present its recommendations to the Cabinet. The Cabinet also gave approval to a new board of directors of PTV. The Secretary Information will be the chairperson of PTV's new board, while Director General Radio Pakistan has also been included in its members. He said this year the country witnessed record production of wheat, sugar, rice and maize that helped increase wholesale trade, which is directly linked to positive growth of economy.
Prime Minister Imran Khan has asked the youth to take full advantage of skills education and Kamyab Jawan programs launched by the present government for creation of job opportunities in the country. In a video message, he said this will not only benefit the youth but also the country as a whole. Prime Minister said 170,000 scholarships are being given for the skills development of the youth. He said 50,000 scholarships will be given for the high-tech skills including artificial intelligence and big data. He said this will enable the youth to get excellent job opportunities as the world is heading towards revolution in the technology sector. He said the skill education program also envisages training in several other fields as well. Prime Minister pointed out that the government has made record allocation of 100 billion rupees under Kamyab Jawan program to enable the youth to start their own businesses. He said any youth who has a business idea can avail loan facility under the Kamyab Jawan program. Prime Minister said the youth mainly wants job in the public sector, but actually it is the private sector or the small and medium enterprises where they can get job opportunities in good numbers.
Federal Minister for Science and Technology Shibli Faraz called on Prime Minister Imran Khan and briefed him about the progress made on the use of electronic voting machines. The Prime Minister was also briefed on the new projects being launched by the ministry. Shibli Faraz congratulated the Prime Minister on the steps taken by the government for economic recovery and the achievement of positive economic indicators. President Arif Alvi has called for increasing forestation in the country to cope with harmful effects of climate change and global warming. He expressed these remarks at a briefing given by Senior Vice President Sindh Anglo Coal Mining Company Syed Zahir Mehdi on Miyawaki Forest in Islamabad. He emphasized the need for enhanced tree plantation to reduce pollution and improve air quality in urban areas. The President said the government is making serious efforts to enhance forest coverage by undertaking plantation drive to plant 10 billion trees in the country. He said Miyawaki Forest is best suited for Pakistan as its trees grew faster and denser, which would enormously help reduce pollution in the country. Corps Commanders Conference took comprehensive review of the global, regional and domestic security environment with particular focus on situation along borders, especially LOC, Working Boundary and Pakistan-Afghanistan border. The forum chaired by Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa was apprised on evolving operational imperatives and corresponding strategy to meet upcoming challenges. While reviewing recent developments in Afghan peace process and its attendant effects on security situation, especially along Pakistan-Afghanistan border, the forum reaffirmed Pakistan's support for regional peace and stability, taking serious note of the recent cross-border firing incidents from Afghanistan and regrouping of terrorist leadership and outfits across. The conference expressed hope that Afghanistan's soil will not be used against Pakistan. In light of emerging regional security situation, the participants reiterated that Pakistan has taken effective border control and management measures, and the same is expected from Afghanistan to deny any space to spoilers of peace. The forum also especially reviewed situation in newly merged districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan and stressed upon fast-paced socio-economic development of these areas to capitalize on the hard-earned peace to bring an enduring stability.
The Senate passed a unanimous resolution condemning crimes against humanity committed by Israeli occupation forces in Gaza. The resolution, moved by Leader of the House Dr. Shehzad Wasim, also expressed its deep resentment at the hypocrisy and double standards of various countries whose condemnation is missing but still talk of humanity, despite being complacent with the aggressor. The Senate of Pakistan welcomed the government of Pakistan's initiative to dispatch humanitarian assistance to the encircled people of Gaza. The House also urged the international community to take immediate, effective and concrete steps to save Palestinian people from further anguish and miseries at the